Nodal return. What is nodal return? It's quite possible that a lot of people watching this video have no idea at all what nodal return is, but they're just watching this video because they trust my content, they trust my channel. Thank you so much if that's the case. Look, the nodes of the Moon, Rahu and Ketu, they're eclipse points. In terms of Vedic astrology, Rahu and Ketu is kind of like the compass of your destiny in this lifetime. The North Node shows what you are here to accomplish, create, build in this lifetime, what your soul is here to experience in this lifetime. The South Node shows where you're coming from. What are the recurrent patterns that your soul is familiar with? And so, its placement in your chart tells us a lot about this lifetime, your life purpose, your destiny. But via transit, the nodes tell us a lot about where you ought to be focusing right now, where there are going to be results or not at all, based on what houses the nodes are transiting, based on what planets they are transiting over. So nodal return is when you have the North Node transiting over the North Node and the South Node transiting over the South Node in your chart. Okay? Why is this so significant? It's significant because when you have the North Node transiting over the North Node and the South Node transiting over the South Node in your chart, there is a strong realignment of your life's objectives and purpose towards the direction of what your soul is here to do and accomplish in this lifetime. There's going to be a strong pull that detaches you from the Ketu aspect of your life and pushes you, with double speed in the direction of the North Node. It's not an easy time period. For example, in the case of King Charles, I wrote an article about it also on Quora, that if you analyze his chart, you will see that he had the North Node transiting the 10th house when he finally became king. And so South Node transiting the 4th house is also the loss of the mother. That's actually what happened. I mean, this is a very general example. You'll find a lot of other examples like that. We'll go into that in more detail as well. But what you need to understand is that wherever North Node is placed in your chart, when you are undergoing nodal return, as in when nodes via transit are transiting through the same sign that the nodes in your natal chart are placed, there will be a huge realignment of energy and priorities in that direction. This aspect plays out better after the age of 42, 48, because by the time your nodes have matured. This aspect is felt a lot more if you're undergoing the mahadasha of either of the nodes, Rahu or Ketu. Okay? Because let's say you're undergoing Rahu mahadasha already and then you undergo nodal return, and let's say your Rahu is placed in the 10th house. Definitely there's going to be an increase in status, there's going to be an increase in recognition, a better job, better pay, promotion, something of that sort, or an important accomplishment in the area of work is definitely going to be seen. But let's say during the same time period, of the transit, you're not undergoing Rahu mahadasha, but you're undergoing Ketu mahadasha. You're undergoing Ketu mahadasha, and then you undergo nodal return. Okay, with Rahu transiting over your Rahu in the 10th and Ketu transiting over your Ketu in the 4th. What's going to happen? Since Ketu mahadasha is going on, this Ketu aspect is going to take more prominence. There could be a move away from home. There could be a selling of some kind of asset, important asset. Or there could be the way that Ketu functions. Maybe you were due to receive some kind of property, or there was some dream project that you were always working on, and you just get rewarded. Look, this is what was due to you. You're getting it. Take it. So transits need to be studied very differently, compared to how we look at the placements in the chart, especially nodal transits. Why? Because on the face value of things, you would be tempted to think that South Node transiting through a house or South Node transiting over South Node is going to amplify the effect of South Node and take that thing away from you, while in reality, it may well gift you with that very thing if you're meant to get it. This is why it's very difficult to predict with the nodes. But I'll tell you that if you start looking at nodal transits more carefully and learn how to read them, you will be able to predict with far more accuracy than any other technique, than any other person you know. Because if you can do that, then all that is actually required to spur this process on is a little bit of coaching. Why? Because look, wherever North Node is in the, is placed in a person's chart is where they naturally want to go. It's what they're naturally aligned with, but they don't really have a lot of knowledge about how to handle those things. And so when Rahu is transiting over Rahu, there is a huge pull. There is an abundance of that energy, but that individual may not necessarily know how to channelize this energy. Like, I feel I need to do something, I don't know what. I feel I need to make a change, I don't know how. And things that I'm trying, the things that have worked for me in the past, they're not working now. So quite often, clients come to me and tell me, oh, since Saraswati, my life's been tough. My life's been tough since Saturn mahadasha, since Rahu mahadasha. And then I'll look at the chart and I'm like, how long has this been happening? The last 12 months or so? Yes. And I'm like, okay, it's not what you think. It's this nodal return which is seriously amplifying and shouting at you, like shouting in your face, the direction you need to take, that you know you need to take, that you're procrastinating because it's fearful. Okay, so nodal return is one of the most powerful 1.5-year transit in your life. Let me put it into perspective for you. The first nodal transit happens when you're 18 years of age. Why? Because 1.5 years is, roughly that age. 1.5 years is when, your nodes they take in one sign. Multiply that with 12, that's 18 years. So roughly the age of 18 is when you get your first nodal return. And you will see quite often with people that between the age of 18, 19 and a half, 18 and a half, 20, is when they are going through the most pivotal period in their life. Some students are going to seriously take off, others are going to seriously take a completely different direction with their life. You know how popular kids suddenly become recluse and the unpopular kids suddenly become popular? This nodal return has a huge role to play with it. Because it's around this time period that the true expression and direction of execution for your spiritual purpose comes alive. For example, you may have thought that you want to be an actor. Okay, all your life maybe you thought, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actor, all your life up till that point, right? And you have South Node in the first house, let's say, okay? And then nodal return happens, as in Ketu is now transiting over your natal Ketu, Rahu is transiting over your natal Rahu, which is in the 7th house. So in this time period, with Ketu transiting over your Ketu, the first house, you may well be tempted to let go of your previous identity completely. This can go two ways. You can either completely let go of this idea of becoming an actor, find no percentage or meaning in it anymore, or you can successfully end the previous era of oblivion of your life, and completely change into a new person who takes up a new name also. Quite often that happens in the movie industry, and you become a successful actor. Which of these is it gonna be? That is something that needs a lot more careful analysis. But this is kind of what happens during that age. So, in the Saturn return video, I talked about how Saturn return happens at a very crucial juncture in our life between the age of 28 and 30. That's when we're maturing into adults, maturing into big guys. We're not kids anymore. When we are waking up to the true potential, the true struggles of the world, in the same way, nodal transit is nodal return, is that 1.5-year period in your life that defines what you're going to prioritize for the next 18 years of your life. But often it's a lot more, it's a lot longer than that. I have seen that the first nodal return that happens between the age of 18-20, that's what I said, roughly that time period, actually has a sizable influence in the direction that your life is going to take for the next 24 to 30 years. And any reset that you wish for is only going to come when both your nodes mature, which is at the age of 48. Rahu matures at 42, Ketu matures at 48. Okay. So I've done my best to explain this to you. Now we're getting into a few difficult concepts. You guys voted that you want to know more about Vedic astrology, you want to know more about, all of these things. I was like, okay, cool. Let me give you whatever, you want. But some of these videos could be a little bit difficult in terms of the concepts that we discuss. I try my best to simplify them as much as I can. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here. Push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. If you want a personal session with me, you can do that by checking out the link given here in the description box. It's going to take you to my website. You'll have to fill up a form. Once I get it, we can take it further from there. Thank you so much for watching, supporting this channel, following my content, voting, participating. Take care. Hari Om.